Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I was on mute. Sorry about that. USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the tri-state areas of New Jersey, Connecticut, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Your host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and of course, Queens, New York native, who is also a New York Giants fan and New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking with me by tuning in, streaming, listening, and watching the 425th episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast. And man, oh man, I got a lineup of topics for you today. And I have a lot to say about the whole thing with the whole government shutdown thing that's been going on for 25 days whatsoever. I feel I feel for the workers who are going through it right now, especially those who are losing their SNAP benefits as far as food and stuff. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. If you are new to this channel and you like to know how to support me, all you need to do is go ahead and hit the subscribe button for hit that subscribe button for me. And also you can hit that notification button so you don't miss out on anything whatsoever. And of course, you can comment on the topics. Tell me how you feel about the topics in each episode, including this one. All right. So so sorry about that. I was having a little technical difficulty with my headphones a bit. Um, I do apologize for that one right there. Now, I know it's been a long time since I haven't recorded a podcast episode, and I do apologize for that. What happened was I had a fever, and I needed a couple of days to actually get some rest and to actually take care of my health and everything else in between, as far as my well-being, all that stuff right there. So in case anybody was wondering what happened with me, that's what happened with me. Um, so yeah, that's what happened with me. So um I do have some breaking news the the involving a funding for counterterrorism that I need to talk about too. Also, before I get into the New York Mass Transit File segment, I'd like to remind y'all that early voting just started today. If you plan on voting, um it starts today through November. It starts today through November the 2nd. All right. Also on November the 2nd, I'd like to address too is to the fact that daylight savings time is going to be ending on Sunday, November the 2nd. So it will be the time for you to switch your clocks and watches an hour back. All right. And what happened is when that happens, since we in the cold season, um, um, it's going to get dark at around 5 o'clock. So I kind of understand how people are not really used to seasonal depression and all the other stuff. But it's kind of but I actually talked about this episodes ago. You can also listen to that as well. As far as seasonal depression, it's kind of hard to actually make it all year round. It's kind of impossible in a way because everybody knows that the earth rotates around the sun, right? So yeah, it's a lot of things we could do versus the ones that we can't. All right. And for people in New Jersey, if you are voting, I want you to listen to this. Jet Cheddar Ready, he is a snake. All right. I've seen his commercial ads where where he where him and Cheeseface President 47 are talking about cutting abortion, cutting Medicaid and Medicare for everybody. So, you know, you know what I'm saying? So please do not vote for this guy because he plans on raising taxes. No, actually cutting taxes, cutting funds to mass transit, including New Jersey Transit. If I were you, I would not trust that guy. All right. All right. So now that I got that out the way, let's get into. Hang on a second. Hold on. Yeah, let's get into. Damn. Let's get into the New York mass transit files. All right. Hold on. Damn. What's going on here? Hang on. Hang on, folks. Okay, like I said, I got some breaking transit news to talk about a involving a fund that got cut by Cheeseface President 47. This involves counterterrorism. All right. This involves counterterrorism. All right. And I gotta say, man, I gotta say, this is just so fucking crazy to me. And this is so fucking crazy to me. And I have to really say something actually. Um First and foremost, before I get into the whole thing with the government shutdown and everything else, I want to say something about our current about this current president, commander in chief. This motherfucker is very disrespectful he doesn't he doesn't know what it's like to be in poverty. He doesn't know what it's like to struggle. All right. This is a man who is a fucking spoiled brat. All right. A fucking spoiled brat. You can't tell me he's not a spoiled brat. Just because you sign executive orders doesn't mean that it's made into law. This man has broken so many laws. All right. This man broken so many laws whatsoever. And then on top of that, you want to make people's lives miserable. Anyway, anyway, let's get to the funding cuts of counterterrorism. All right. Let me tell you something, man. This shit is it's fucked up. It's really fucked up in a way. And I say this is fucked up because according to AMNY, the state of New York and the NYPD will continue to invest in subway safety even as the federal government cuts millions in funding for counterterrorism and public transit safety. Governor Kathy Hochul said on Thursday. Um, hold on 1 second here. The news followed Cheeseface President 47 um, Donald Trump's announcement that the $187 million in Homeland Security cuts for New York were restored on October 3rd. However, Hochul said the state-run MTA was the only agency of 21 nationwide applicants to not receive funding through the Federal Transit Security Grant Program, which the Federal Management Agency launched after the 9/11 attacks in NYC and Washington, D.C. Since 9/11, New York has received federal support to keep active counterterrorism resources. Hochul said during a press conference at MTA headquarters in Lower Manhattan on October 9th that she will not tolerate the slash in funding. Ain't that some shit? This just listen. This shit should tell you that there is a fucking red flag with our stupid president. There's a red flag with all this shit. Okay, a fucking red flag. This should tell you there's something wrong with this guy. All right. The shocking actions of Washington Republicans to slash these funds and defund the police put New York City at risk, the governor said. We will not tolerate these cuts. New York will take every action available to us, including the courts, to ensure the MTA gets this critical funding to keep millions of riders safe. She singled out in particular Republican New York members and urged them to speak out in opposition to Trump's cuts, which she said amounted to a defunding of police in New York. Wow. 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 Let's see. Stand up for the safety of your own residents and stop the defunding of police in the state of New York. So otherwise, you sacrifice the mantle of being the law and order party, which you are not. You are not the party that backs the blue. And you have to start acting like you actually care, Hochul said. So don't be hypocrites. Help us out here. A profound mistake to pull counter-terror grant. Tish, let me see. Let me see what she says. The transit security grant is designed to protect mass transit systems from security threats. The MTA carries a significant portion of the United States' mass transit riders, with over 6 million daily trips taken on Metro North, the Long Island Railroad, and New York City Transit. In addition to approximately $12 million that would go to the NYPD, the MTA had planned to utilize this year's grant funding to support public safety and counterterrorism investments, including increased MTA police deployment and the installation of cameras. It's truly strange that Washington keeps spinning stories about subway crime, but then defunds the NYPD and MTA cops who patrol the system, MTA chair and CEO General Lever said. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who attended the press conference, said making the safety cuts is a profound mistake, adding that it will make the subways less safe. In quote, the fact of the matter is, since 9/11 has been a target, and with the support of the counterterrorism grant programs, the men and women of the NYPD have done an admirable job keeping the system safe from terror. Excuse me, from keeping the system from terrorism. Tish said, taking these capabilities away from the busiest and therefore the most high threat subway system in the country is a profound mistake. Counterterrorism operations and public safety in general cannot be politicized. AM New York contacted the White House for comment and is awaiting a response. Meanwhile, subway crime in September was down 31% from the same month last year, and year to date, it is down 4.3% compared to 2024, according to Hochul and the MTA. MTA Chief Security Officer Michael Kemper, a former NYPD chief of transit, said the grant funding is crucial for reinforcing and advancing counterterrorism initiatives. It significantly enhances our operational capabilities, all with the goal of providing a safe and secure transit environment for, for our riders and workforce. A responsibility we take seriously every single day, he said. All right, our next transit topic we got to talk about here is the PATH trains. Hang on a second here. Hang on a second here. I know I've been a little far behind with the PATH trains and stuff. That's just crazy though. This took place over the summer, so I'll just recap what happened. Came to a halt after out under a train in Jersey City, sending many commuters to the hospital Monday morning, officials said. According to PATH officials, the incident occurred at around 6:19 a.m. when a fire started under an eastbound train in the Newport PATH station. The train filled with smoke and passengers were evacuated on the platform, officials said. PATH and New Jersey Fire Department crews responded and remained at the scene throughout the morning. Horrifying video posted on social media shows passengers scrambling to leave a rail car as smoke fills the air and the train doors remain closed. When the doors finally open, passengers rush out of the area and a blaze of fire is seen underneath the train. 13 people were treated for smoke inhalation, with 9 of them taken to the hospital for further evaluation, PATH officials said. Service was disrupted and multiple lines were suspended, including the Hoboken World Trade Center and Journal Square 33rd Street routes. As of 10 a.m., the World Trade Center, NWK, and Hoboken 33rd Street lines were operating. Many commuters had to scramble to find alternate routes. PATH officials said NJ Transit and New York Waterway are cross-honoring tickets. It is unclear right now what caused the fire, but the investigation remains ongoing. All right, so next topic here. Um, um, this happened last month actually. So let's get into a little recap of what happened last month. So this is from Fox 5, Fox 5, the website. Fox5ny.com to be exact. So the brief: PATH service is suspended between Harrison and Journal Square on 6 weekends starting tomorrow. During these weekends, trains will still run between New York Penn and Harrison, Journal Square and World Trade Center, and Journal Square and 33rd Street via Hoboken. PATH says it will provide free wheelchair accessible shuttle buses between Harrison and Journal Square and between Newark Penn Station and Journal Square during these service outage. Wow. Okay, New York planning to take the PATH this weekend. Maybe plan around it. Okay, so starting this weekend, PATH service will be suspended. A Conrail freight rail bridge above the tracks. PATH says it will provide free wheelchair accessible shuttle buses between Harrison and Journal Square and between Penn Station and General Square during these service outages. Um, Buses will run every 7 to 12 minutes, except during the early morning. Will run every 15 to 20 minutes. Riders can find shuttle bus locations by following signage at the affected stations. Path train status, of course, during these weekends. Trains will still run between New York Penn and Harrison, General Square and World Trade Center, and General Square and 33rd Street via Hoboken. So this is a little recap right here. So this started between September 13th through um, the 16th, Friday through Monday at 11:59 p.m. through Monday at 5 a.m. September 20th through the 23rd, same time, Friday 11:59 p.m. through Monday morning p.m. No, excuse me, 5 a.m. Same time, October the 4th through the 7th, Friday 11:59 p.m. through Monday 5 a.m. And October 11th through the 14th, Saturday 30 a.m. through Monday 5 a.m. Today, today, hold on, today actually, so October 25th through the 28th, of course, Friday 11:59 p.m. through Monday 5 a.m. And of course, the next weekend will be November 1st through the 4th, Saturday at 2:30 a.m. through Monday 5 a.m. All right. So weekday service will not be affected. Okay. All right. So this violent perp. A man, yeah, that's crazy. This is some crazy stuff, man. This is crazy. This is some crazy stuff right there. A man for brutally attacking two people in a Midtown subway last week, breaking the victim's jaw in the process, was all smiles as he was led away in cuffs Wednesday. NYPD sources said detectives had tracked 26-year-old Jermaine Finley down to a homeless shelter in the Bronx on Wednesday after they had been hunting him for two unprovoked assaults. According to law enforcement sources, Finley allegedly attacked two men in separate incidents on September 1st. Cops say a 36-year-old man was riding a 4 train at around 4:30 p.m. as the train pulled into the Lexington Avenue 59th Street station and the doors opened. Detectives allege that Finley punched the strap hanger before fleeing. Oh my gosh. You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Wow. You gotta be kidding me. Um Hold on. This is some crazy shit though, man. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's continue. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Okay, so the victim was left with pain and swelling in his eye but refused medical attention. About 30 minutes later, at the same station, a 66-year-old was waiting for a northbound 4 train when Finley struck again, punching a senior in the face before again making a run. Oh boy. Damn, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like I feel for those train commuters who have to deal with this every day and every week when they are commuting to go to work. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Oh gosh. So let's see. While this victim initially refused medical attention, cops say he later made his way to Lenox Hill Hospital, where he was diagnosed a broken jaw and admitted he required surgery. A CBS report identified the older victim as David Williams, who told the news outlet that he was left scared and shaken by the attack. I can only eat liquefied foods, he said. Police say both attacks were unprovoked and that he did not say anything to his victims. Finley was escorted out of the train district for station house in cuffs on Wednesday afternoon, but refused to answer for the alleged assaults. He simply smirked when asked if he had anything to say. Finley has been charged with 2 counts of assault, and he should be in jail for this shit though. You feel what I'm saying? He should be in jail for this shit. And another transit story to talk about. This happened over the summer, actually. So, a recap of what happened over the summer. The New York City Council is preparing to vote on a street design bill that some members say would have saved lives, though transportation officials warn it could worsen traffic collisions and drastically reduce parking across the city. Intro 1138 would cut down on fatal traffic crashes, supporters say, by banning vehicles from parking within 20 walks, improving visibility for drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. The practice, known as daylighting, involves removing parking spaces near into the council's progressive caucus prioritized the measure, uh, which took place on July 30th. If passed, the legislation would bring New York City in line with existing state law that prohibits parking within 20 feet of intersections, according to city and state. The bill would also require the city's Department of Transportation uh, to install physical barriers such as planters, bike racks, or other objects to further harden daylighted areas. A costly job the agency estimates could total cost $3 billion to implement. Sheesh. Hold on 1 second, folks. Daylighting will keep all New Yorkers safe. Sponsored by Queens Council member Julie Wan. The proposed legislation is known as the Universal Daylighting because it would apply to intersections across the city, including nearly 14,000 that have signals. Hmm. Okay, so let's get it. Wow. Universal daylighting and hardening at intersections. All New Yorkers safe, whether they are driving, walking, or biking, Juan said. The city must make our streets safer for everyone who uses them. Juan's bill, however, faced opposition, including from the DOT. In a January study, the agency found that daylighting offers only a modest improvement in traffic safety. And April 21st transportation hearing, DOT officials said they do not support a universal daylighting mandate, arguing it could negatively impact safety and lead to unnecessary spending in areas without a history of injury causing crashes. If this unhardened daylighting were implemented citywide, we think we could expect an increase of up to 15,000 injuries in a year. Eric Beaton, DOT's Deputy Commissioner of Transportation Planning and Management, said. The theory we would support hardened daylighting at all corners, but that would cost in the neighborhood of $3 billion and would cover large numbers of locations without a history of injuries. Damn. Still, even without a law in place, the DOT is moving forward with hardened daylighting in areas with significant crash histories. The agency plans to roll out the approach at a limited number of high crash intersections in Brooklyn this year. Thousands of parking spots eliminated. Meanwhile, Intro 1138 is projected to eliminate 300,000 parking spots across the five boroughs, a major concern in a city where parking is already a night. Let's see. The potential impact has drawn criticism from lawmakers in districts where residents rely heavily on cars to commute. Staten Island Borough President Vito Fasella quipped that the daylighting plan is even worse than daylight savings time. Simply put, it's a solution in search of a problem, he said. This one size fits all approach will make things worse for Staten Island drivers, not better. If the goal is to make things safer, then identify those intersections that present a problem. Fasella also echoed the DOT's concerns about the plan's hefty $3 billion price tag. It is a big mistake to impose a $3 billion parking ticket on New York City residents for a concept that should not see daylight, the Beep said. We urge the city council leadership to keep this proposal in the dark. Still, many transit and street safety advocates are pushing and hope the council passes it this year. Sarah Lynn, executive director of Open Plans, said that more than 50% of casualties and injuries occur at intersections, as Intro 1138 would help get that number lower. Intersections are places where humans who are walking are interacting with very dangerous vehicles. She said, anything we can do to improve intersection safety, we have to do. And we know that daylighting is one of those tools, especially hardened daylighting. Lynn added that even though the DOT has real concerns about funding the proposal, the investment is more than worth it. I understand their concerns. When you put something at intersections, it is safer. And putting something there costs money, she said. And they don't have the money for that. I would argue that the city should be prioritizing human life and putting the money behind it. We're talking about children being hit and killed in the street. That feels like something worth putting money toward. It remains unclear when the council will vote for Adrian Adams said the bill is moving through the legislative process. In quote, the safety of pedestrians and all street users remains a top priority for Speaker Adams and the council. The spokesperson said Intro 1138 is going through the council's legislative process, which is deliberative and allows for thorough public engagement and input. Okay. Bill, in terms of safety, 1138. Yeah, 1138. What is it? Yeah, 1138. Hold on. Yeah, intro 1138. Yes. So, you know, a proposal like this, sometimes you really have to do the best you can to cut through that difficult fucking tape. And you get tired of the politics, the crazy politics behind it. So, you know, it is what it is. All right. So, um, I do want to talk about the whole government shutdown and how it really affects people. And to be honest, it's just not fair what these people are going through. You know what I mean? It's not fair what these people are going through. And honestly, it is just not fair to the hardworking people who work at airports for TSA, controlling the planes and everything else. And you know what? Let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion about that I like to call chatting or the jazz. I really have so much that I want to say that I want to get it off of my chest. I can't wait to express it to you folks at home that's listening. And of course, you can comment below. How do you feel about the government shutdown that's been going on for 25 days? All right, let's get into it. Now, I'm pretty sure that some of you know by now, and about the whole government shutdown that's been going on for about 25 days. It's already been three. It's already been three, now going on 4 fucking weeks. This is some bullshit, man. You know what I mean? Now, now hold on. In case you didn't know what was going on, I'm actually going to fill you in and enlighten you on. And this is from NBC News. This has been going on for 25 days. Okay, so yeah, so so the effects of the government shutdown goes like this. The federal government shut down Wednesday after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill. Agencies and departments each have, hang on a sec. Hold on. All right. Yeah, here's what's happening here. The federal government shut down Wednesday after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill. Agencies and departments each have their own operational procedures during a shutdown, and they have issued guidance about what to expect as the money runs out. Here's what's happening as the shutdown continues. Will federal workers be paid during a shutdown? What about layoffs? No, federal workers will largely not be paid during the shutdown. Employees who are considered essential must still report to work, although they will not be paid until the government reopens. Furlough and essential employees will receive back pay after a shutdown ends. Cheese face President 47, aka Donald Trump, aka spoiled brat, and members of Congress, however, are continuing to receive paychecks during a shutdown. Their pay is constitutionally protected. Oh, brother. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt told reporters Wednesday that layoffs would be imminent. Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought also told House Republicans during the day that federal employees would begin to be fired in 1 to 2 days, according to sources. On Thursday, Cheeseface President 47 said in a Truth Social post that he would meet with Vought to decide which Democrat agencies the OMB director recommends to be cut and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or. Cheeseface President 47, like other Republican leaders, blamed Democratic leaders in Congress for the shutdown and warned them about the impact, writing, "I can't radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity." The Democrats are not responsible for this fucking shutdown, okay? It's you fucking grown ass people who are playing the blame game. These people are struggling right now. They're fucking struggling. And you wonder why people are pissed because they are going to be running out of their SNAP benefits. I just watched it today on the news today on TV. And for me to hear something like that is it's terrible. It's really fucking terrible, man. And this is not something you could just fucking toughen up and act like nothing happened. Sometimes you gotta take a stand for something. that you believe in. Doesn't matter how fucking tough you are. All right. It's not about being hardcore or anything like that. It's about taking a stand for what's going on and what's right for the people, especially those who work hard for their money. And yes, like I said earlier, I feel like the people who go to work at airports with no pay is a fucking slap in the fucking face. Okay? It's not fair. It's not fair to these people. It really is not fair to these people. All right? It really isn't. Um it really isn't. Yeah, so and this government shutdown really affects the people in the military. So what's going on with that? The majority of military operations will continue to be funded of the shutdown. However, pay for military and civilian workers will be delayed until a funding deal is reached, forcing them to continue their duties without compensation. Lord. Military personnel on active duty, including active guard reserves, remains on duty but may be issued except for extenuating circumstances such as disaster response or national security. Some National Guard members serving through federal funding could have their orders terminated unless performing an essential duty. Ahead of the shutdown, the Department of Veterans Affairs said it expected 97% of its employees to work, though regional offices would be closed. Some death benefits, such as the placement of permanent headstones at um, VA, which is Virginia, cemeteries, and ground maintenance are expected to cease. Communication lines, including hotlines, emails, social media, and responses to press inquiries, are expected to be affected as well. The Army and Navy said in social media posts that they will provide limited updates on their websites during the shutdown. The Air Force and Space Force said their websites are not being updated. Air traffic control services will continue, allowing more than 13,000 air traffic controllers to work through a shutdown, but without pay until the government is funded again. Other essential services are also still occurring, such as the service and oversight of commercial airplanes and engines and air traffic safety oversight. Still, the Department of Transportation has stopped other activities, including the hiring and field training of air traffic controllers, facility security inspections, and support for law enforcement. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association said in a statement Wednesday that shutdowns reduce the safety and efficiency of the national space system and erode the layers of safety that allow the flying public to arrive safely and on time to their destinations. During a shutdown, furlough and support programs are suspended, making it difficult for air traffic controllers and other aviation safety professionals to perform at optimal optimum levels, the group said. Um, as far as Social Security benefits considered mandatory under law continue regardless of a shutdown. So recipients can expect to continue receiving their payments. However, the Social Security Administration could face a furloughed workforce. Fewer workers could mean that processing new Social Security applications could be delayed. Is the Postal Service affected? The United States Postal Service will not be affected by the shutdown, according to the USPS website. The Postal Service is an independent agency funded through sales of services and products such as stamps. As a result, the funding lapse will not impact its operations. How does the shutdown affect the Department of Health and Human Services, you ask? The Department of Health and Human Services, home to agencies such as the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Food and Drug Administration said in its contingency plan that it expects more than 32,000 of its nearly 80,000 workers to be furloughed during the shutdown. Double HS said accepted activities will continue offering as an example responses to the slandemic, flu, and hurricanes. Additionally, the National Institutes of Health is still conducting research and clinical services necessary to protect human life and government property. But research contracts and grants to external organizations such as universities are now frozen, and NIH will not admit new patients to its research hospital unless medically necessary. Double HS also said it will not process Freedom of Information Act requests during a shutdown. How is the FDA affected, you ask? The FDA will continue certain exempt activities, including drug and medical device reviews and recalls, monitoring of foodborne illnesses and the flu, pursuing some investigations when the agency believes the public is at risk, and screening food and medical products to the U.S. Wow. The agency warned it will end its ability to monitor the use of new ingredients in animal food and thus will not be able to ensure that meat, milk, and eggs of livestock are safe for the public to eat. Long-term food safe long are also expected to be stopped during the shutdown. The FDA is not processing new drug applications and medical device submissions. The agency warned it will not support staff that oversee protection, safe, or ineffective drugs unless it is an imminent threat. By the way, I spoke to somebody yesterday from Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shields to see if the people were affected by the government shutdown. So far, if you have any type of health insurance out there, any particular company you are under whatsoever, you should be safe. You should be safe from the whole government shutdown. You should be safe from that. All right. So, let's see. So, are students able to get loans for school? Okay, so The Department of Education continues to disperse student aid through Pell Grants and federal direct student loans assistance that goes to nearly 10 million students at 400 schools, the department said. Borrowers still need to make their loan payments during the shutdown, the memo added. In the first week of a government shutdown, the department said it would furlough about 95 staff who don't work on federal student aid. The department is also halting new grant making activities during a lapse in funding. What is the impact on the CDC, you ask? These outbreaks, but it will be hampered in providing the public with health related information, its contingency plan said. The agency also won't be able to provide state and local health departments with guidance on issues like preventing opioid overdoses, HIV, and diabetes. Certain other operations are also being halted, including responses to inquiries about public health issues and the analysis of surveillance data for certain diseases, the Department of Health and Human Services said. The department also said ahead of the show, excuse me, the department also said ahead of the shutdown that slightly more than a third of the staff at the CDC and the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry will continue working during the shutdown. How are nutritional programs for the poor and women and children affected, you ask? The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps, and the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program infants and children will continue to provide benefits during the shutdown, subject to the availability of funding, according to the Department of Agriculture contingency plans posted Tuesday afternoon. The document added that a May letter from the Office of Management and Budget previously committed funds for SNAP for October, ensuring the program would run through that month. It added that SNAP has multi-year contingency funds available, but did not specify how long those funds would last. Yeah, you gotta feel for those people, man. That's about to lose SNAP benefits and can't buy food or anything like that. They're really struggling through food insecurity. It's really fucked up in a way, man. And this is all this is all this is all cheese face President 47's fault. And I need to call out. I'm not gonna say any names on there. I'm just gonna reference certain people. To you idiots out there who are Trump supporters, especially my mother, especially 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 Michael Babcock from TMZ who does TMZ Sports. You have no idea what it's like um to lose SNAP benefits, especially for those who need food and everything else in between. You have no idea. This so-called commander in chief is a fucking evil villain. And I say that and attest to that because when I did that topic involving Chief Face President 47, there was a topic that I did involving the merger between Paramount and Skydance. He got away with he got away with with some dumb claim about a 60 minutes interview that was edited or whatever. Now you hear that he's wasting his fucking time in Argentina helping those people. What about the people in the United States of America? Fucking promises. And you wonder why people don't respect you. Charlemagne the God was right though. For him to be wasting his time giving money to the people in Argentina is really, really fucked up in a way. And I really, really hope he does not president for a third term because it would be a fucking disaster if he was the president for the third time. He's very Letitia James. He's very disrespectful to the Constitution. He's very disrespectful to the amendments, and not even to mention democracy. This is getting very crazier and crazier, and I wish to the man upstairs, and I hope the people out there basically take a stand and basically try to hold this evil villain accountable. Okay? It's like enough is enough, man. Like people are tired of being laid off, being fired, whatsoever. People are tired of being taken advantage of through through cheese face president 47. Okay, it's like enough is enough, man. Like this is so fucking insane to me. Here, for me to hear that people are not getting paid, for people that's going to lose out on SNAP benefits as far as like food stamps, as far as like anything that is like like government assistance and stuff, they're gonna lose that, and it's for and Social Security, they're gonna lose out on Social Security because of his stupid petty ass. Like this is insane. This man is fucking insane. I am so glad I didn't vote for his crazy ass because the man is he's treating the fucking White House as a fucking reality show that he was previously on. All right. This man is like he's like King Midas who touches for those of you who may not know about King Midas, the story about King Midas is about a man who touches everything into gold and didn't realize that he's ruining everything. This is exactly what he's doing. Whatever shit he touches, he ruins it, just like King Midas. You know what I mean? You hear what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying, folks? When 2028 ends his term, his second term, please do not for this guy again. He's worse than Jack Chattarelli, who wants to cut funding for mass transit of New Jersey Transit, alongside with cutting abortion, alongside with cutting Medicaid and Medicare, which is not fair to it's not fair to people. It is not fair. All right. That is not fair, man. This man is the most ignorant person ever. And by the time he He's gonna be too old for this shit. And can we stop electing old geezers, man? Old fucking geezers, man. Like, how about we start voting young people, man? How about we start voting young people? Like, it's getting out of it's really getting out of fucking hand. It's like enough is enough with this bullshit. Oh, yeah, this is crazy. So, okay. Wait. So, yeah, however, the Department of Agriculture, which houses WIC, said in a letter to state agency directors of the program on Wednesday, saying they would not receive their next funding as a shutdown continues. The nonprofit group National WIC Association warned that a shutdown that lasts longer than 1 or 2 weeks could cause for people who rely on the program. On Friday, a spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget said the program will run out of money this month, meaning that women and children will no longer receive. The White House and House Republicans put $600 million into the GOP's short-term spending bill to avoid this outcome, the spokesperson said. But unfortunately, Democrats are okay with women and children losing benefits. No, man, it's not the Democrats. It's the stupid ass Republicans, okay? They're the ones holding the shit hostage. They're holding the damn government shit hostage. And they're really being fucking petty about this shit, man. Like, and I'm pretty sure some of these Republicans have kids of their own who are really, 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 really bothered by the whole thing with SNAP benefits and everything else being being cut. And and I would actually feel a way, and I would feel the same with all these people. I really feel bad for people, especially those who got kids and stuff, man. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous, man. Anyway, so on Friday, a spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget said the program will run out of money this month, meaning that women and children will no longer receive benefits. The White House and House Republicans, yeah, I already read that. All right, so yeah, the White House and House Republicans put $600 million into the GOP's short-term spending bill to avoid this outcome. The spokesperson said, but unfortunately, Democrat. Yeah, I actually was saying that it's not the Democrats that's okay with women and children losing benefits. It's the Republicans that's doing that shit. They're a bunch of fucking liars. Okay. Anyway, will national parks stay open? You ask. A National Park Service contingency plan released Tuesday night said parks remain partially open during the shutdown. Open air sites such as park roads, outlooks, trails, and some memorials remain as public. Restrooms remain open, and trash is still being collected. The National Park Service advised, however, that emergency services will be limited. Buildings that require staffing, such as visitor centers or sites like the Washington Monument, are closed. The agency said it will issue new permits during a shutdown either. And guess what this fucking idiot is doing? He's threatening Canada with fucking tariffs. This is ridiculous, man. Off of some fucking ad that the people from Ontario, Toronto, that actually put up an ad in regards to being anti-tariffs. I don't blame these people who put the ad up. They're not going to remove that shit, man. This man is a fucking bully, okay? He's a liar as well. Okay. The National Park Service's contingency plan said certain expected activity would continue during a shutdown, including trying to suppress active fires, sewage treatment operations, and the protections of borders and costs. Go to the Smithsonian Museums or the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., you ask. The Smithsonian institutions, museums, and National Zoo, major draws for visitors to the nation's capital, said Friday that they will use funds from the previous year to remain open to the public at least through the latest of October 11th. And a facts page on the zoo's website said animals at the zoo and the Smithsonian's Conservation Biology Institute will continue to be fed and cared for, but animal cams will no longer broadcast. This is fucking insane, man. This is fucking insane. And look what it's doing. Look what it's doing to the people in New Jersey. Let's talk about that one right there. And this is from y.org. All right, so the federal government shutdown that began at midnight on October 1st continues, and the impasse is impacting thousands of workers and their families in New Jersey. Republicans and Democrats in Washington, D.C. have been unable to reach a deal to extend subsidies for those who for those who get health care insurance through the Affordable Care Act, among other disruptions in services. Prior to the current government shutdown, the most recent one in 2018 lasted 34 days. Who acted and what is affected by the current shutdown, you ask? So while non-essential employees are furloughed, military personnel, federal law enforcement officials, and all active duty National Guard and reservists on active duty orders are required to continue working during the shutdown without pay. The face. This is a fucking slap in the face to hardworking people who have bills to pay, who have groceries that they have to buy, all that other stuff that they're not going to be able to do. And it's fucking crazy. The Coast Guard will continue patrols and operations in New Jersey waterways, but members will not be paid. That's fucked up. Air traffic controllers and Transportation Security Administration officers at Newark Liberty International Airport are also essential employees and will continue to work without a paycheck. Congress typically approves a measure to grant them back pay once the shutdown is over. They better. The National Park Service sites in New Jersey, including The Statue of Liberty National Monument will remain open, but that is subject to change. National parks remain as accessible as possible during the federal government shutdown. However, some services may be limited or unavailable. A message posted on the Park Services website reads. The Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, the federal program administered by the USDA, commonly known as WIC, that provides food, nutrition, education, and other services to low income women, is still operating, but it could quickly run out of funding and an extended period of time. Benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as SNAP, could also be affected. On the first day of the shutdown, Cheeseface President 47 announced that billions of dollars in federal funding for the Gateway Rail Tunnel between New Jersey and New York were being halted. But for now, construction continues on the project, which is slated to be completed by 2030. Services not impacted by the shutdown includes all state agencies, including the Motor Vehicle Commission and state parks, open and operational. But interruptions in federal funding could impact their operations moving forward. Man, Social Security payments and supplemental security income payments to those with disabilities or little or no income or resources will continue without interruption. Individuals on Medicare, Medicaid, and those receiving disability insurance will continue to receive their benefits, but it may take contact those agencies because of employee furloughs. All veteran affairs, medical facilities, and clinics in New Jersey will remain operational, but education and job training programs could be halted. The U.S. Postal Service is not affected by the government shutdown, so normal mail service will continue. Oh Lord. If you think that's bad, if you think that's bad, take a look at what's going on with Stop and Shop. Let's talk about that. Damn. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, hang on a second here. Ooh boy. Yeah, listen. This is very crazy. Very, very. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is insane, man. This is very insane. Very, very insane for these people that's going through it right now. Hmm. Yeah, this is insane, man. You really gotta feel for these hardworking people that's going through this. You really gotta feel for these fucking people, man. Seriously. Um. Ah, man. Performing and all that stuff. Oh boy. So okay. So Stop and Shop's wave. When Stop and Shop announced it to shutter 32 locations across the Northeast, it sent shockwaves through communities that had depended on these stores for decades, in addition to continuing to make investments in price and the customer experience as part of its growth strategy in its market. Stop and Shop will close 32 underperforming stores by year end. The closures, Stop and Shop will continue to have a strong across its 5-state footprint with more than 350 stores. The closures hit multiple states hard, with New Jersey taking the biggest blow. Stop and Shop is closing 32 stores, and nearly 2 dozen of them in the tri state area by the end of the year. New Jersey accounts for 10 of them. The affected stores span all 5 states. It has locations in, including 10 in New Jersey, 8 in Massachusetts, 7 in New York, 5 in Connecticut, plus 2 locations in Rhode Island. These weren't random closures either. These were strict decisions based on cold, hard numbers about store performance ability. Oh boy. Let me see. Yeah. There's hold on a second here. Hold on 1 second here. All righty then. This is terrible. This is really terrible what they're going through. Wow. Yeah. Um. Oh boy. Ah man. I can't believe this shit though. You know what I mean? Anyway, are they affect? Let's see if they're affected. This is crazy, man. This is fucking. Um. Oh boy. Can't find anything in regards to the whole government shutdown. Um. Oh boy. Okay, so for some reason I can't seem to find. Let me see. Let's see. Let me just. Okay. All right. Hold on, folks. Let's see. Are they affected by the shutdown? Let's see. So let me see. So they're not really. So Stop and Shop is not directly affected by the federal government shutdown, as it is a private company. However, the shutdown could indirectly impact some customers, especially um, especially senior citizens, um, who rely on government programs like SNAP, which are affected by the shutdown. Private company operations, a government shutdown primarily affects federal government operations, not private businesses like Stop and Shop. Indirect impacts, some of Stop and Shop's customers might face financial difficulties if they rely on federal benefits that are impacted by the shutdown, such as some SNAP and WIC benefits, which may be delayed or reduced. Food programs, while some SNAP and WIC programs may be affected, many other programs like Social Security and Medicare are funded separately and are not subject to shutdowns. Hmm. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Oh my gosh. This is fucking insane, man. This is fucking insane, man. Who's going through this? I do feel sorry for the people that's going through this, though, man. It's not fair. It's not fair what they're going through. Yeah. Oh Lord. Okay. Hang on. Well, so let's see. Stop and Shop has not been directly affected by the current government shutdown, but has partnered with Connecticut Food Share to help families who are impacted by it, according to WTNH.com. The company is not directly involved in the shutdown itself, which is a funding gap that causes federal government services to be curtailed and workers to be furloughed. No direct impact. The government shutdown does not directly impact Stop and Shop's operations, and its stores remain open for business. Partnership with Connecticut Food Share. Stop and Shop is working with Connecticut Food Share to provide emergency food distributions to families who may be struggling due to the shutdown. Impact on federal programs. The shutdown may impact federal programs such as SNAP and WIC, which could affect some customers. However, benefits like Social Security and double SI are expected to continue to be distributed, according to Representative um, Shelley Pingree's website. Whew. Okay. I do remember. Okay. Millville. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So So the Stop and Shop in Millville, New York, is not affected by a government shutdown. However, some Stop and Shop stores are closing due to business decisions. The Millville, New York store is not among those closing, and the government shutdown is the reason why. It's not the reason for any of the store closures. No government shutdown impact. The U.S. government is not currently shut down, and there are no reports indicating a government has affected Stop and shop stores, business related closures. Some stop and shop stores are closing because they are underperforming, and the company has made a strategic decision to close some of its locations. Affected stores, the closures are limited to specific and do not include the Millville store. Um, Employee support. The company has stated that it will offer other jobs within the company to employees affected by the closures. Okay, so let me see. Wow. So I did see on TV that in a report that in a report in regards to the Stop and Shop in Millville, New York. I believe that's in Long Island. I believe that it may not affect the, but it did affect the senior citizens who work in the warehouse actually, which is pretty crazy right there. All right. Um, so I do feel for them. Hopefully, these fucking idiots can get their head out of their asses and stop blaming each other and prevent all all the suffering prevent all the suffering to just stop, man. All right, enough. There's some bullshit, man, that people are going through. All right, let's get to let's topic, man. I had enough with this fucking spoiled brat in the White House, man. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, you heard me. He's just fucking spoiled brat, man. I'm tired of his ass lying. Anyway, let's get into let's get into this. So, um, on so I'll gladly go over this. Joey Badass is letting fans in on an example of the fucking battles that get fought in the shadows by artists. According to the people from Complex, on Instagram, Joey, who was slated to release his new album this Friday, which took place August 1st, opted to just rip the band aid off by announcing that the release had been pushed back. After an apology and some candid remarks about not personally being best at sticking to dates and shit like that in the past, the Mr. Robot alum pointed to what he said is the problem with his latest would be release. My shit got pushed back because the label pushed my shit back, Joey said, as seen below. My album is signed, sealed, and delivered over a month ago. This because of no sample clearances. This ain't because of no features. This ain't because of no clashing with another artist on the date. This is literally an exhibit A of the label getting in the artist's way. These days, Joey said he's operating on Rogue Time, a perspective he connected to the recent YouTube only of the bulk of his string of new tracks in 2025. According to Joey, this this too stems from his current label issues. I'm signed to Columbia Records, but for the longest time, I just ain't been fucking with them. He told fans on Tuesday. All they do is get in my way. They really don't fucking contribute to nothing, especially this year. I'm not sure if y'all know this, but all of my releases have been on YouTube. And it's been that way because I ain't got time to wait on nobody, bro. I'm way too fucking independent minded and self-sufficient to sit around and wait for people who is not getting in line with the vision. I refuse to do it. I don't blame him, man. And it is the way to go. I don't blame him. You know. And moving forward, Joey has set a deadline for the label to take action on their end. If this doesn't happen, Joey said he's planning to release the entire album titled Lonely at the Top to YouTube. These motherfuckers got till Monday to straighten up. Joey, who later tucked in a quick fuck Columbia Records, said, I'm giving them until Monday. That's me being generous. Columbia Records, y'all got till Monday to straighten up. Complex has reached out to reps for Joey and Columbia for comment. This story may be updated. In the meantime, here Joey's recently the track to the Jimmy Kimmel Live. Hang on a second. Yeah, he brought the track to the Jimmy Kimmel Live stage. Yeah, Complex Con returns to Las Vegas on October 25th to the 26th with over 300 brands and live performances. Yeet and Friends, Peso Pluma, Central C, Ken Carson, and more. Of course, make sure you get your tickets. So let's get into another topic right here involving Jeezy. All right. All right. So here's what's happened. What's happening. This took place over the summer by the folks from People. Jeezy praised an Uber driver for driving him from South Carolina to Baltimore after his flight was canceled. The rapper brought the driver on stage during his August 1st concert after the 10-hour journey. Big thank you to Jeezy. He was super cool. Very nice dude, genuine guy, the Uber driver said on. Jeezy is grateful for an Uber driver's efforts to get him to his show. The Get Right rapper, age 47, is forced to take a 10-hour drive from South Carolina to Baltimore to avoid disappointing fans after his flight was canceled ahead of at the Lyric Baltimore on August 1st. Jeezy, whose real name is Jay Wayne Jenkins, reposted a fan's TikTok video on Instagram showing the moment. Showing the moment he explained his lengthy journey to the crowd after he successfully made it to the city as part of his TM 101 live tour. I woke up to my team informing me that all flights to Baltimore and DC had been canceled. Jeezy captioned the post. They then told me that my driver was on his way to pick me up so we could drive to Baltimore for the next stop on the tour. So, okay. Sounds pretty good. All right, hold on. Okay, hold on a second. All right. 2 hours puncturing the gas and causing fuel to leak everywhere. Jeezy continued, we pulled over to a small gas station to regroup in South Carolina. My team tried to arrange a jet from South Carolina to Baltimore, but with the flights canceled due to weather, we weren't sure if the jet would get us there on time, risking another cancellation, he then wrote. The Soul Survivor musician went on to explain that his team initially called an Uber to take him and his team to a rental car company. But Around 8 minutes into the journey, he began to inquire how much the Uber driver would charge to change the destination of the trip to Baltimore. I assured him that whatever it was, he'd have it. The four-time Grammy-nominated rapper said of the driver, like a real one, he didn't hesitate and just kept driving. 10 hours later, we arrived in Baltimore just 10 minutes before showtime. Jeezy continued. I told him he made a lot of people happy tonight, gave him a snowman tee, and told him he was my guest for the show tonight. Shout out to the real MVP, my Uber driver Tanner. Not all heroes wear capes. He concluded his post. P.S. There was no way I was missing out on Baltimore. Jeezy didn't reveal how much he paid the Uber driver, who later received a standing ovation when he was brought on stage in the city. The Uber driver later admitted on TikTok that he didn't expect giving the rapper a ride to go viral, but he thought it was cool. It was kind of cool. Big thank you to Jeezy. He was super cool. He very nice dude, genuine guy. He had it. All right, all right. So let's go on to Salt and Pepper. Congratulations to them for being featured in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So let's get into it right here. This is from Billboard. They are not on the first list of rock and roll performers and presenters, but Salt and Pepper, which will be receiving a Musical Influence Award, will definitely be in the house. Oh yes, Cheryl Salt James tells Billboard, I don't give it away, but we have been having creative calls with choreographers, with people at the Rock and Roll, with the music people, and it's been really fun figuring it out. And James adds will be the Hall of Salt and Pepper, meaning formerly estranged DJ Spinderella, aka Deidre Roper, will be joining Salt and Sandra Pepper Denton on November 8th at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles, streamed live on Disney Plus. Half the people already canceled their Disney Plus subscription uh due to what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. All right. So the whole spin situation, hold on a second. The whole spin situation is so long over, says Salt. Spinderella, who joined the rap group during 1986, was fired during 2019, just as Salt and Pepper began a run on New Kids on the Block's mixtape tour. We have reconciled. We're good. We've had hard conversations. We've cleared up misunderstandings. So let's dead that to everybody. Spin was at the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2022. Hang on a second. Yes, 2022. We performed together. It's like so old. Please chill out. It's not surprising then that Salt and Pepper is feeling nothing but positive about the impeding rock and roll honor. In quote, I feel like we've gotten all the things now, James says. We have our Walk of Fame, our Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys, every award in between from MTV to you name it. So is the last big one, I guess. And we're very excited. It's kind of like what you want in your career. You want longevity, you want recognition, and the fact that Everybody's representing Salt and Pepper's contribution to music is perfection to me at this point in my life. A lot of people are saying long overdue. I say it's right on time. Formed during 1985 in New York City, Salt and Pepper was the first female rap group. Hold on, hold on. Formed during 1985 in New York City, Salt and Pepper was the first female rap act to score to score a gold and platinum album with its 1986 debut, Hot, Cool, and Vicious. In 1995, Salt and Pepper and Queen Latifah became Salt and Pepper for None of Your Business, and and Latifah for UNITY. That's a Unity. None of Your Business, hailed from 1993's quadruple platinum, Very Necessary, which also launched the Billboard Hot 100 Top 5 hits. Shoop and with Involve Waterman. In the beginning, I just knew Salt and Pepper was gonna be something bigger than me, Salt says. I don't know why I knew that, but because it propelled me forward. This is what I'm born to do. This is my destiny. That's how I thought about it. She acknowledges that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was definitely something I never thought about. I haven't actually paid attention when Missy Elliott got in, of course. When Public Enemy did, of course, and when people started saying you guys need to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then a few artists like shout out to Chuck D actively campaigned to get us in there. Salt is particularly happy that Salt and Pepper is being honored alongside our brothers Outkast, who she recalls representing one of its first BET Awards, and my good friend um, Cindy Looper, Lopper, excuse me, who I adore. She says the duo is also proud of being honored in the musical influence category, but confesses that, in quote, I'm pretty sure we weren't actively thinking of how we were going to impact people when we first started. We just started, we just wanted to be artists. I think part of our longevity is our authenticity, and that we just organically came together as friends. We say we brought fun, fashion, femininity to hip hop. We weren't afraid to be feminine. The men were being pretty hardcore, but we were just some round the way chicks that other girls related to. And it just took off. It's still mind screws me. Still mind screws me though. Oh shit. Um like there's Cheryl and there's Salt. Cheryl's like, wow, Salt girl, you did that. How did you do that? But I am at the place now where I think I'm just starting to receive the magnitude of what Salt and Pepper had and being able that. Released an album since 1997's brand new or fresh material since a couple of new tracks for the best of Salt and Pepper 2 years later. But Salt says some things might be shaking for her and Pepper. Roll honor. excuse me, the Rock and Roll Hall honor. Excuse me. There's some talk about us possibly going on tour with Janet Jackson. I hope that happens, she says. And you never know. After I put out some music and get my little independent blueprint worked out, maybe. Yeah, Salt and Pepper might follow suit. Salt recently released a solo single and has another Kings and Queens due out on November 21st. Both are slated for an album Salty and Lit that's due out next year and shares a title with a podcast she's launching with daughter Corinne Ray. I love being in the studio, she says. I've got like 14 songs, still making more. I'm so inspired. My goal is to bring positive vibes to hip hop without being preachy or judgmental and the music being fire. It's like a breath of so refreshing. There's no cursing. You are not rapping about your hoodie cap. It's just a celebration. Yeah, let's make some noise for Salt and Pepper for being inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right. All the accomplishments that they did in their music career. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second here. All right. All right. So we have to talk about the TV change here. And in case you don't know what that's about, let me fill you in on what's going on here. Let me fill you in on what's going on here. And this is from the folks from Variety. Uh, and here's what's happening here. Nielsen is keeping track of so much more viewing data. Hmm. The hell's going on here? Yeah, Nielsen is keeping track of so much more viewing data in the age of streaming that getting to a final count of TV audiences is going to take a little more time. The measurement giant, which recently won approval to include viewership data from smart TVs, along with usual panel of video consumers, says final tabulation of audiences that includes people who streaming services will likely take as much as 2 to 3 days following a specific premiere. Broadcasters have been accustomed for many years to releasing Nielsen viewership estimates as soon as the day after a program's debut. Um, yeah, yeah. Let me see. Let me see. When you have this much data that people have to adapt to, well, it's not going to be easy for you to take all the panel information and dissect it and analyze it, says um, Cart, hold on, Karthik, Karthik Rayal, Nielsen's CEO, during a recent interview. Complicated. Media companies will still be able to release viewership information in a cycle, he says, but we'll have to label those estimates as preliminary rather than final. So a network that airs the Super Bowl or in awards telecast will be able to sense of the audience for the event, even if the bulk of that number will likely hinge on linear view. Networks have become accustomed to such stuff for years. They have been able to issue fast nationals or early reading of audiences on preliminary figures, which are typically updated within a few hours. TV ratings are probably overdue for a makeover. Yes, it does need a makeover. They need to include streaming as well. After all, nearly everything else associated with the medium has been given an overhaul in the streaming era, including program scheduling, advertising, and distribution. It's not clear whether all media companies and constituents will welcome Nielsen's new diligence. One growing critique of the measurement giant is that it moves too slowly in an era when companies want more data more quickly. At the same time, most networks have made 3 days worth of viewership data, also known as C3, the standard for tabulating audience info for advertisers since 2007. Indeed, most Nielsen announcements spur industry pushback. Many of its innovations require technology upgrades and new practices that the sometimes view as one risk or rickety. Indeed, on Monday, a senior executive from the National Football League told the Wall Street Journal that estimating the audience for its games. Part of the problem, he suggested, was an effort to utilize first party data from various streamers. Nielsen has not struck deals for the data with all media providers, though it does have agreements in place with Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube. Despite the complaints, Royale maintains and Nielsen's willingness to upend industry routine suggests that the measurement giant feels new wind at its back, not in its face. We do things right and we get pummeled for it. The reality is it's balancing innovation with stewardship, right? That's always the trick when you are in the role we're in. You go too fast and everything, excuse me, you go too fast and everyone's like, wait, we're not ready. Now, if you are like, well, we'll bring everyone along. It's like you are not going fast enough. So the only way is to balance those two things, says Real. It's a job and a half. Simply, he says, simply put, he says the industry must adapt new measures as viewers shift habits. Um, a linear view is not meaningful. It is meaningful, but not without the rest of the data coming in. There's more context to be had when more waiting time. Nielsen has been under scrutiny for months as it works to introduce new technology to track TV's increasingly complex viewership matrix. Disney, Paramount, NBCU, and the rest need to show advertisers exactly who is watching popular dramas, comedies, sports, and specials, but that task has grown exponentially more difficult as more people watch scripted favorites on demand via new digital platforms. Um, but only Nielsen has so far won third-party accreditation accreditation to measure so-called big data or audience tracked via the smart TVs. So, despite industry complaints that surfaced during the coronavirus pandemic and the rise of a group of rival upstarts that have struck a series of measurement pacts with advertisers, media agencies, and TV companies, Nielsen's work remains the sector's standard. The U.S. network have formed a joint industry committee that has put a spotlight on technology from some of Nielsen's rivals, which includes companies such as iSpot, Video Amp, and ComScore. With Nielsen, there is a sense that some of these companies, which have formed many alliances with ad buying agencies, as well as several media companies, may not have the full capital that the industry measurement task requires. Nielsen's Real sounds confident about the adoption of the company's new offering. The new Nielsen data was pretty much the currency of record during the TV industry's recent upfront sales market, says Real, who notes it has won acceptances from large media buyers. He does not apologize for moving methodically. We take the time to do it right, bring the industry along, investing in the accreditation, excuse me, accredit, accre, accreditation process. Uh, There's no other way. It's about time they make this change, man, because it's not just TV ratings anymore. People, we're in a streaming era right now, especially you have streaming platforms like Paramount Plus, you have Disney Plus, you have Netflix, you have YouTube, you have You have other platforms that people watch from a streaming platform. You even have Peacock that's included too. Um, so you even have yeah, and you just name it, man. I want to get to hang on a second here. I want to get to some TV shout outs. So let's get into some TV shout outs here, shall we? Um no, TV checkouts, excuse me, sorry. All right, let's get into some TV checkouts, shall we? No, hold on. All right. All right, TV show checkouts. Let's get to it. Let's get to it right here. Um, get to it right here, right now. Yeah. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Um, all right, here we go. All right, folks. I want to discuss to you in regards to verses. Many of you probably remember it came out during the slamdemic of the COVID-19 era. So let's get into it right here, right now. So the demise of verses was greatly exaggerated. The brand co-founded by Swizz Beatz and Timbaland is marking its return after a 3-year hiatus at Complex in Las Vegas on Saturday, which takes place today, Saturday, October 25th, with a massive edition pitting two of Southern hip hop's most esteemed labels against one another. Choosing the New Orleans based labels and holding the event in Vegas is a unique touch, as Louisiana based HBCU Grambling will take on fellows SWAC HBCU Jackson State in the HBCU Classic game at Allegiant um, Allegiant Stadium earlier that day. Rather than talking so much, we just want to get to the action. Versus creator Swizz Beatz and Timbaland said of its expansive relaunch in a joint statement. The Versus relaunch will stream live on Apple Music at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. During the 90s and early 2000s, Cash Money and No Limit were synonymous with bringing New Orleans hip hop from tall t-shirts to Jabot jeans, camouflage, bling bling, and more to a global audience. Both labels boost a who's who of hip hop royalty, including Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Master P, BG, Mia X, Manny Fresh, KLC, and more. Regarding who will join P, Baby, and Slim on the Versus stage, the the co- colonel or colonel, I don't know how you pronounce this. So anyway, of the No Limit tank suggests his soldiers will be in the building and gave his flowers to the Cash Money imprint for how they helped shape New Orleans hip hop. We definitely two companies that came up in New Orleans and created Empire's Piece said in an interview earlier this week. So many hats go off to Birdman and Cash Money, as well as my No Limit Army, all my soldiers, everybody that represented us for so long. During the global slamdemic, Versus evolved from being a virtual hit battle on Instagram with plenty of viral moments and technical difficulties to a celebration of legacy acts and a full-fledged in-person production packed with must-see highlights from Jadakiss and the Locks facing Dipset at Madison Square Garden to Earth, Wind, and Fire taking on the Isley Brothers. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that shit though, man. And if in case you missed it, um Versus is going to be on it's going to be streaming live on Apple Music. Um Apple Music. I know some of us don't have Apple Music. Um I'm pretty sure they probably have Apple Music on YouTube. I'll have to take a look. I have to take a look at that. All right. In other TV show checkout news, we have to talk about the New York City Marathon along with the street closures. Very important. Um New York City's biggest running event is back with the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon, which will see thousands of runners from all over the world compete in a 26.2-mile race that spans. It's impressive to say the least. Even if you are not running in the event, turning out to cheer on the athletes is time well spent. Below, we've answered your most pressing questions about the TCS New York City Marathon so you can plan accordingly. Let's see. When is the New York City Marathon 2025? You asked. The New York City Marathon will happen on Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Mark your calendars. And of course, what time does the New York City Marathon start? You ask. 8 a.m. I saw somewhere that it starts from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. All right. And I believe the New York City Marathon 2025 event is going to be airing on ABC 7. All right. So, is the New York City Marathon 2025. It runs 26.2 miles from Staten Island to Central Park in Manhattan, exploring all 5 boroughs. Here's the exact route. Hold on a second. Here's the exact route. Let me see this. Let me see this. Let me see this. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, man. So, want to cheer on your loved ones in the biggest race of the year, the TCS New York City Marathon, at 26.2 miles. So you need to plan on where you'll watch them run. The 2025 New York City Marathon will take place on Sunday, November 2nd, starting at 8 a.m. I believe it ends at 1 p.m. The entire city turns into a party to cheer on the incredible runners. Below, find the full NYC Marathon route, its starting and stopping points, and how to watch it live on TV. All right, where does the New York City Marathon route start? The route begins on Staten Island and exits Staten Island via the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. It takes runners through Manhattan and the Bronx. Where does the New York City Marathon route end? After a trip up into the Bronx, runners head back down into Manhattan and then enter Central Park, where they finish. You see the full route map here. Um, okay, where can I watch the race? You ask. You can cheer on the runners across the five boroughs at the following spots. You got Fourth Avenue, which takes place in Brooklyn. Miles is 2 to 4. Catch runners as they exit the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and move along Fourth Avenue. To get there, you can take the R train. Fourth Avenue and Flatbush Avenue, 8 mile radius. You can get there by taking the B, D, N, Q, R2, 3, 4, 5. Williamsburg and Greenpoint, Brooklyn, 10 to 13 miles. Claim streets lined with shops and restaurants and encourage runners as they head towards the Pulaski Bridge to cross into Queens. To get there, you can take the G, L, M, and J trains. Pulaski Bridge is 13.1 miles. The Pulaski Bridge, which connects Brooklyn to Queens, is closed to spectators. Many fans cheer on the Queens side, just races halfway mark. To get there, you can take the 7, G, and E train. First Avenue, Manhattan, 16 to 18 miles. Spectators line walks and shout encouragement at this exciting part of the course. The avenues, many bars, and restaurants contribute to the festive atmosphere. And to get there, you can take the sub 4, 5, 6, and F trains. East Harlem, 18 to 20 miles. Also known as Spanish Harlem, this neighborhood is home to a vibrant Latinx community. This is a perfect location to cheer and help keep the runners' motivation high. To get there, you can take this. You can take the subway 6 train. Charity cheers on First Avenue and 120th Street. Um, it's 19 to 20 miles. Um, you can help celebrate thousands of runners who have chosen to add meaning to their run by raising funds for one of NYRR's 500 plus official charity partners. And to get there, you can take this. You can take the subway 6 line. For Fifth Avenue, East 90th Street, East 105th Street, 23 to 24 miles. This stretch of Fifth Avenue is a cultural hub as well as a crucial spot to catch runners before they enter Central Park. And to get there, the subway lines includes the Q45 United Airlines Zone, Columbus Circle, and to get there, you can take the subway lines A, C, D, and 1 trains. The race finishes at 67th Street on West Drive. Spectators can access approach to the finish in 2 ways. Grandstand seating tickets are required and are must be, and you can enter at West 62nd Street and Broadway and grandstand with grandstand tickets. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at where you can actually get the tickets to the event. So you can go to www.nyrr.org where you can get this is where you can get your tickets. All right. So this is where you can get your tickets and stuff. So this is where tickets and stuff. So let's see. So there you go. Hang on a second. Is there more? Hold on a second. Oops. Is there more? Hold on a second. Nah. Wait a second. Yeah, so let me see. Where was I? Okay, where was I? Let me see. Um, yeah, so registration is now closed for 2025, but all the information you need to register for a future race is available at nyrr.org. What streets are closed for the New York City Marathon 2025? Let's take a look and see. I forget. Um, damn, they're not saying anything about the street closures. Shit. Hang on one second. I'm like, listen, hold on a second. Let's see. They're not saying anything about street closures. It's weird. I would have to circle back. I would have to circle back to see to see the street closures. All right. Now, like I said before, if you can't make it to the New York City Marathon 2025, TCS New York City Marathon, you can all on ABC 7. That's where it's going to be airing. I'm not sure who's going to be hosting the event, but I'm not sure where it's going to be. I'm not sure how, so we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, so there it is. So where were we? Yes, so um yeah, like I said, grandstand seating tickets are required and must be purchased online. ny.org. Enter at West 62nd Street and Broadway with grandstand tickets. Okay. Standing spectator area located inside Central Park from Columbus Circle to the south end of the grandstands, approximately 500 feet before the finish. NYPD, NYRR, and the New York City Parks Department may limit access at times based on capacity. No chairs are provided. Nope, there is no spectator access north of the grandstands in Central Park. Spectators can enter at the following areas. You got Broadway at West 61st Street or West 62nd Street, or from the east side via the Central Park path by Heckscher Fields, kickball field number 3. All entrances require screening. Where can I catch the New York City Marathon on TV? Like I said, you can watch the broadcast live on race day on WABC TV, channel 7, aka ABC 7, from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Pre-race coverage begins at 7 a.m. and continued coverage of the race will be live until 1 p.m. Live streaming will be available on the ABC 7 and ABC7 New York.com from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. ABC7 New York.com will also present a view of the finish line from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or you can tune into ESPN2 and ESPN.com from 8 to 11:30 a.m. Well, so there you go. Right now, I'm not seeing the places, the streets that's going to be closed. So I may have to circle back on the street closures. I may have to circle back, folks. There you go, right there. All right, let's get to some TV shows that's been returned. Get into it right here. So, all righty then. Let's get into it right here. So we have, hang on a second. So we have, let me see. See. Let me see. So hang on one second, man. So this is in October. All right. So I'm pretty sure that I may have went over this. Let me just go over the month of October. So let's do that though, since we're in October. All right. So let's get into this right here. Oh man. So hang on one second. So obviously Chad Powers already came out. Glenn Powell plays a down on his luck college quarterback who blew his chance at the big time because he's kind of a jerk. So he does what any rational person would do: slaps on some facial prosthetics and pretends to be a different person to try out for a new team. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's based on a viral undercover stunt that Eli Manning pulled off when he created the character for his ESPN web series, Eli's Places, and tried out for Penn State. Of course, you can watch it. You can watch it on Tuesdays on Hulu. And on brand with Jimmy Fallon, late night's biggest shield will become primetime's biggest shield when Jimmy Fallon and NBC debut on brand with Jimmy Fallon, a reality competition in which contestants help famous brands with new marketing campaigns at um, aimed at parting consumers for their cash. It's like watching a commercial about making commercials. Capitalism at its blandest. Let me see. So Charlotte's Web. Isn't there a movie about this years ago? I'm pretty sure there was an animated movie that came out years ago. All right, so E.B. White's classic story of interspecies friendship comes to streaming via a 3-episode miniseries written by Oscar winner Luke Matheny. The family-friendly movie tells the tale of a pig named Wilbur, played by Griffin Robert Faulkner, and Elijah Wood, um, who learns life lessons from a spider, Amy Adams. Oh boy. Of course, you can watch it on Thursdays on HBO Max. Yeah, let me just get that. Oh, so Brian and Maggie on PBS. This well-reviewed interview between BBC News anchor Brian Walden, played by Steve Coogan, and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, played by Harriet Walter. Sundays at 7 Central on PBS. Maigret on PBS. PBS is airing a new detective series, which isn't anything new. What is new is that this one is French and very handsome. The series follows Chief Inspector Jules Maigret, played by Benjamin Wainwright, as he solves crimes in Paris for police ju- um, judiciaire. The character of Maigret, created by Georges um, Simon in 1931, is one of the most popular literary, detectives ever. But this is the first time we'll see him in contemporary times. You can see it on Sundays, which is already out. Sundays, 9 8 Central on PBS. Red Alerts on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus acquired American streaming rights to the Israeli scripted miniseries about the October 7th terrorist attacks, drawing from the stories of those who survived it. You can watch it on Tuesdays on Paramount Plus. Boots came out recently for Netflix. This coming of age story set in the 1990s follows a closeted gay man played by Miles Heiser, who joins the Marine Corps. The comedy drama is based on the Greg Cope White book, The Pink Marine. Damn. Oh, shit. Oh, man, The Pink Marine. Oh, shit. It was one of the last TV shows worked on by the legendary Norman Lear. You can see it on Thursdays on Netflix. And of course, 911 Nashville. Um, this fall, chicken won't be the hottest thing Nashville is famous for. 911 Nashville is a spinoff of ABC's popular first responder. Aside from changing locations to Tennessee, this one will supposedly differ from the mothership by including more interpersonal drama. It's 911 combined with Nashville C. Chris O'Donnell, Jessica Capshaw, and Lee. You can watch it on Thursdays 9 8 Central on ABC. The Last Frontier on Apple TV Plus. The Blacklist creator John Bokenkamp, who co-created this series with Richard D. Ovidio, stays in his lane with this twisty, thriller about a U.S. Marshal played by Jason Clarke in Alaska who hunts down escaped fugitives after a plane carrying some of the country's most hardened criminals crashes in the wilderness. It's got an NBC Crook of the Week feel. Shit. Of course, you can check it out on Apple TV Plus. That's out right now. All right, so the Chair Company, Zach Kanan and Tim Robinson, the creators of Netflix's I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. Conspiratorial in this comedy starring Robinson as a working stiff who goes down. Of course, it's out right now. You can check it out on HBO and HBO Max. DMV is another TV show that's already out right now on CBS. And CBS's lone new comedy this fall, the Department of Motor Vehicles is no longer the butt of jokes. It's in on the jokes. SNL's Tim Meadows and Colin from Accounts, Harriet Dyer, as employees of the East Hollywood DMV in this sitcom that is hopefully more fun than renewing your car registration. Yeah, you can check it out on Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central. Story Shutter, AMC. Greg Nicotero, The Walking Dead's master of gory practical effects, binds the creating a horror movie and intensity of a game where elimination is around every corner as players engage in horror themed. Nicotero describes it as what would happen if Survivor and the Blair Witch Project had a baby. Oh shit. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, you can check it out on Shutter and AMC Plus. Splinter Cell Death Watch on Netflix. The Ubisoft military video game franchise Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell gets an animated treatment for Netflix, with John Wick screenwriter Derek Kolstad penning the series. Lee Shriver voices gaming icon Sam Fisher, a Black Ops agent who is pulled into the field when a young operative asks for his help. You can hear the sound of his night vision goggles powering up, can't you? Yeah. And so you can check out Splinter Cell Death Watch on Netflix out right now. Let's see. I'm not even gonna. Let me just skip to the good stuff. Of course, Sherry is out right now. CBS's new spinoff Fridays kick off with the five country inspired Sheriff Country starring Morena Baccarin as Mickey Fox, who Law and Order to Edgewater, California, the same place Fire Country's Bodie Donovan tries to keep not on fire. You can check it out. It's actually switched to a new time now. You can check it out on Fridays at 8 on CBS. Boston Blue, the spinoff to Blue Bloods. After several years of working Bloods, Donnie Wahlberg is moving back to Boston. Well, in reality, he'll be in Toronto, where this Blue Blood spinoff is mostly filmed. Wahlberg takes his character Danny Reagan to Beantown, where he's partnered up with Lena Silver, played by Soniqua Martin Green. Yeah, they were guests on the Sherry Show recently. So a rising star in the Boston Police Department, who also comes from a law enforcement family. We'll see how many episodes it takes for Reagan to switch from being a Mets fan to being a Red Sox fan. Oh, damn. You know, Wahlberg is doing everything in his power to make it happen. Yeah, you can catch it. You can catch it on Fridays at 9 Central on CBS. There you go. The Road, another series on CBS. Sorry, Cormac McCarthy fans. This is just a country music reality competition series that challenges performers to go on tour, not a grisly apocalyptic story of a family avoiding cannibals. Urban, Gretchen Wilson, and Blake Shelton serve as mentors, and Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan executive produces alongside Shelton and Urban. Yes, you can. It's out right now on Sundays
at 8 Central on CBS. Let's go. The other good stuff. Welcome to Dig. Warner Brothers is very high on its own supply of IP. So, following the box office success of the It movies, we're getting a television prequel set in 1962 behind the red-nosed clown, the red-nosed of demonic clown monster. Pennywise to dig up his origins when a couple and their young to Derry, Maine, and bad things start to happen. Bill Skarsgård will play Pennywise again. And of course, you can watch it on Sundays at 8 Central on HBO and Max. All right, let me see. Damn. Let me see. It's gotta be some. Oh shit! Son of a Donkey on Netflix. Oh, Australian YouTubers Theo and Nathan Saden, the duo behind Super Wog, star in this comedy about a man, Theo, just entering adulthood who is before adulthood. Yeah, you can catch the premiere Thursday, October 30th on Netflix. Well, let me see. There you go, right there. Oh, Robin Hood on MGM Plus. This new drama claims to bring a modern energy to the classic story of Robin Hood, the man who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. We could use one of those right about now. How do we know it has modern energy? Mr. Hood, played by Jack Patton, goes by Rob. You can check it out. You can check out the premiere on Sunday, November 2nd at 8 Central on MGM Plus. I love LA. In demand comedian, actress, and writer Rachel Sinat from Bottoms is behind this new comedy about a group of friends in Los Angeles. Jordan Firstman and Josh Hutcherson also star. It premieres Sunday, November 2nd at 10:30, 9:30 Central on HBO and HBO Max. Another spin-off, Crutch, by Paramount Plus. Tracy Morgan stars in this spin-off of CBS's The Neighborhood, playing a Harlem shop owner whose empty nest fills up again when his son and daughter move back into the house. It premieres Monday, November 3rd on Plus. Okay. All's fair. Ryan Murphy will rest when he's dead, and even when he's 6 feet under, he'll still probably put half a dozen shows a year. His latest is this legal drama about a group of female divorce lawyers who form their own firm in a field dominated by men. Naturally, their business lives intertwined with their personal lives because this is television. The powerhouse cast includes Kim Kardashian, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash Betts, Tiana Taylor, Glenn Close, and Sarah Paulson. Premieres November 4th on Hulu. Let me see. Let's get to the good stuff, man. So Stumble. NBC can't do a mockumentary. Oh shit. Mockumentary and Stumble, one of the network's new shows this fall, looks into the world of competitive junior college cheerleading while a camera crew gets it all on film. Jen Lyon and Taryn Killam star. Premieres Friday, November 7th at 8:30, 7:30 Central on NBC. So there you go, right there. I'll save the rest of the TV stuff that's going on in November, that's premiering in November, for another time. What do you say we go into some video game news? What do you say we go into some video game news, actually? So let me see. Hold on 1 second here. All right, what do you say we go into some video game news right here? Called the Video Game Entertainment Newsroom. This is the segment where I actually get into some games that's coming out, upcoming, and of course some stories behind the gameplays and everything else in between. So let's get into it right here, right. All right. All right, let's get into this right here. All right, a couple of games that already came out already. You got Magical Delicacy, Ghost of Ghost of Yotai, Unirism, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy Plus, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Digimon Storytime Stranger, I'm Finding Paradise, Battlesuit Aces, King of Meat, Sopa, Tale of the Stolen Potato. Oh shit. Absalom, by Sweet Carol. Le, Lepin, We Were Here Together, Yuka, Replay Lead, Battlefield 6 is out right now. This Disc Gaia 7 complete, Dreams of Another, Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition, Little Nightmares 3, Pixel Junk Eden 2, Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club, Undusted Letters from the Past, Just Dance 2026 edition, NASCAR 2025, already came out already for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Ball X Pit, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's out right now. Hold on. Yeah, Cuff Bust is out right now for PC. Hitman Absolution for iOS and Android. Pokemon Legends Z and A, Z through A, Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. Reach Quest 3, PlayStation VR 2, and PC. Xbox Series, PC. Lumo 2 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. ILA, a Frosty Glide for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Ninja Gaiden 4 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC. Jurassic World Evolution 3, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC. Painkiller for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is out right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Dispatch for PlayStation 5, PC, and yeah, PlayStation 5 and PC. Torm for iOS and Android. Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit. It's out right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Double Dragon Revive for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Godbreakers for PlayStation 5, PC. Persona 3 Reload for Nintendo Switch 2. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted for place is out right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Power Wash Simulator 2 is out right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. The Jackbox Party Pack 11, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, Mac, and iOS. The Lonesome Guide. No, the Lonesome Guild, excuse me. Out right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Chicken Run Extraction for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me see where I left off here. Yes. Also out right now is Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed is out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo by Molly's for PC, Once Upon a Jester for PS5, Xbox Series, Once Upon a Katamari for PlayStation. The House of the Dead 2 remake, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And of course, keep a lookout for some key dates that's coming out this month. You got Creepy Redneck Mansion 3 comes out October 28th for iOS, followed by Death by Scrolling for PC, Duet Night Abyss, PC, iOS, and Android. Inmost iOS, Android, Ari, a prologue for PC, 2 Point Museum, Nintendo Switch 2, Recreation for PlayStation, Xbox Series, and PC. October 29th, The Outer Worlds 2 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Adrift for PC comes out October 30th, followed by ARC Raiders 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch. Um, Mahjongami comes out on the 30th as well for Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch and PC. Mortal Kombat Legacy for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Stray Children for Virtual Fighter 5 REVO World Stage for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series as well. October 31st for Halloween, Tales of Zillia Remastered comes out on the 31st. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch. Terminal Brigade. All right. 1000X Resist for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series comes out November 4th. Following Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition comes out for PlayStation 5. Football Manager 26, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Let's Sing 2026, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch. Master Lemon The Quest, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Satisfactory, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. November 4th. Biped 2, PlayStation 5. It actually comes out November 5th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And 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 Dinkum comes out for Nintendo Switch as well. All right, I'm gonna hold off on the rest of the games that's coming out in November. I'll circle back on that. I think I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna wrap up right here, though, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. All right, let's get to the last segment right here. Stream choices on the go. Let's do this. All right. If you like the topics in today's episode or any other episodes whatsoever, free to follow the comedy off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook alongside with Bluesky Social, Threads, and Instagram. Same goes for same social media platforms for my other podcast shows that I do, which is my sports edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast as well. You can also follow your host with the most, G Money Stacks 555 on Threads and Instagram as well. Now, if you go to the link in bio where it says Linktree/G Money Stacks 555. You're gonna see a whole list of podcast link feeds to each streaming platform whatsoever. You can click on there. You're gonna see some streaming platforms. I will gladly go over it with you. So let's get into it right. See Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating alongside with a review. It helps the show grow. It gives me the encouragement and the confidence to create more content, more topics, and everything else in between. So, all right. So, Castbox FM, Deezer, Moon FM podcast, Overhaul FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Podorama podcast, Index podcast, Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snip. Don't forget add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. And you can also listen on Spotify for creators, TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you can listen to your favorite music artists, such as rappers, R&B, and other music genres, and other singers. You can also listen to your favorite radio stations on the AM and FM stations. You can also listen to the podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is follow the comedy Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast. Of course, with all the stream platforms that I just mentioned, and of course, if you like to support what I'm doing, make sure you hit that subscribe button alongside with the notification bell. Leave a like and a comment. Tell me how you feel about the topics in today's episode and previous episodes in case you missed it. It'll really mean a lot to me if you tell all your friends all about this podcast right here. You can share with your friends. You can also share with everybody that you know. Word of mouth is important. And yeah, in case you didn't know how to support the channel, you can leave a like. You can also subscribe. You can also press the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other new episodes that's coming out. And of course, where you don't want to actually miss out on any new podcast recordings, especially new episodes. Very important. And yeah, and you can also make a donation. Any amount of money will be appreciated. It's optional. You don't have to, as long as you are subscribing to the channel and all that great stuff. That's fine with me. Yeah, my Cash App and my PayPal is all in the description. Either one will be appreciated. But like I said, if you like the topics and everything that I do, you're more than welcome to make a donation. Any amount will be appreciated. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's from the heart. That's what matters. All right. So yeah, there you go right there, man. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Um, and I like to say thank you to every single one of you to the 425th episode titled TV Change. Um, some TV changes to the Nielsen ratings and all that great stuff. Remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. And and if you are inspired by any podcast host like myself, and you want to get in on the podcast journey action, please feel free to actually um, have the courage to start your own podcast. It doesn't matter what time or day it is, there is no wrong time or right time to actually start a podcast. And it's never too late to start one, no matter what age you are. All right. Um, and remember, when it comes to podcast recordings, it is a marathon, not a fucking sprint. All right. Um, and also find your niche, be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. Do what makes you happy, do what makes you smile, whatsoever. And don't forget to vote. Early voting starts now. Don't forget to vote. It starts today through Sunday, November 2nd. And don't forget that election day starts. Don't forget to vote on election day as well. All right. And I hope you learned about Jack Chatteretti and his dirty tricks. He's a snake. And I hope you learn that the evil villain in the White House is is a big fat phony, an evil villain who's basically making people's lives miserable. Like I said, and look, like I said, man, I'm not a big fan of his, and yeah. also, like I said earlier, when it comes to daylight savings time ending on November the 2nd, you want to make sure you switch your clocks and your watches an hour back, because what happens is that the sun will be going down at 5 p.m. I know a lot of people are not really used to the seasonal depression and all that other stuff as far as the seasonal changes and stuff. Um, but we've been through this for years, man. All right. So this is not new. All right. Um, so man, that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode like I do. I will be posting this episode on Monday, so be on the lookout on streaming platforms. I will be dropping it. I will be dropping it on Monday, depending on what time I feel. Um, as long as there's no tune in next time. Tune in next time for more new episodes and everything else in between. Um, and I'll see y'all next time. With more new topics. Of course, more new stories. of course, segments, everything else in between, whatsoever. All right. All right. I know Halloween's around the corner. I will be doing an episode about that in a following future episode. So be on the lookout for that as well. So I'm gonna be out of here. I love y'all. Peace and one love. Be careful out there, out on these streets, especially in subway stations, especially with everything going on with these slashings and subway pushings and stuff. Of course, be safe out there, and of course, you know, to the people that's struggling out there with food insecurities in terms of SNAP and everything else in between. I hope you get all the help you need as far as like foods, beverages, and everything else in between. Even though SNAP is going to be running out of money and all that other stuff, and of course to the people who are basically disappointed in terms of the counter-terrorism funding that got cut. That's going to target some terrorist people to attack the people, train commuters, train riders who are to different places and stuff. So just hang in there. Just hang in there. Hopefully we don't have to vote for the same guy for the third term. He does not get a third term because in my book he gets a fucking F. All right, he gets a fucking F because of all the stunts that he pulled. He's a liar, and I don't know why he named his social media app Truth Social when he doesn't tell the fucking truth. He doesn't tell the truth at all, man. And I can't respect that. I cannot respect that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. There you have it. Thank you for hearing me out, letting me express myself on this podcast platform. Independently speaking, I appreciate every single one of y'all. Peace and one love. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and everything else. And see you next time. Peace. Good night.